Hey guys, oh my God, I'm so
Hi.
excited to be reunited. I missed you guys so much.
Oh my God, it's so good to see your faces.
Yes. Okay, so Alex, it's like the crack of dawn in California. Thank you so much for getting up and hanging out with us. You look gorgeous. You guys look gorgeous. We wanted to have Nolita with us too. We caught up and talked, but schedules couldn't align. So hopefully, maybe we'll do a part two of this and like get us all together.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just kind of catch up because it's been a while. We're all obviously at home in quarantine, trying to stay positive, trying to keep our businesses afloat, and for all of us really trying to keep our clients' businesses afloat too, right? Managing our sanity and all of these things. So I wanted to just chat and see how you guys are doing and like what's going on. So maybe just start with like, really, how are you? Like Fallon, how are you doing? Alex, how are you doing?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I made like this executive decision to have my best friend and sister come stay with me in quarantine. Best like choice I made. I would not be surviving without them. So, like for us extroverts, this is hard. I'm like totally missing the travel and the social interaction, but I have them here, so we're making the best of it. Having little parties, daily if we can do a dance party or like have dinner, and just chit chat and make it like social and fun. We're doing that. So I'm hanging in there because of them. I need to give them full credit.
I've been seeing all your stuff on Instagram, and I'm like, who is she with, and who is she throwing these
I
fabulous
know. Yeah, I mean, any excuse to throw a party, but yeah, we've been in it together for what feels like 7 weeks now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, not feels like
Here.
it's been 7 weeks.
Yeah.
How are you,
You guys
Alex?
have full houses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go first, Alex. How's your house? How are you doing?
We are super blessed. I think that a lot of people that have more than one child, it's a lot, but when it's just one, it provides like a day's worth of ideas and imagination. So that's been actually really incredible to do everything from like playing the drums to going for walks to chalk to drawing and puzzles and as things slowly open in California, we've been able to like pop over and do some picnics. So to be honest, this time has been some of the greatest moments that I've been able to have with my son because they're not filled with fear of client emails and there's no distraction.
Yeah.
Like the second this started, to be honest, my shit was like flatlined. So instead of crying about it, I just dove right into my family and my home. And we're very lucky in the sense that we have a huge backyard. So we've been like doing projects in the garage. So to be real, it's been kind of a dream.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of fall somewhere in the middle of you two. Like I miss putting on clothes every day. Like thank you guys for giving me an excuse to put on a bra today.
Same.
Yeah, straighten my hair for the first time in
What
quarantine.
is jewelry?
Yes, like I miss that as however that sounds, right? I miss, like you said, Fallon, travel. Like I was, I don't travel as much as you do, but being able to be free to go, right? If it matters to go to New York to have a conversation with someone or to fly to LA or wherever, it was like, I miss that freedom and I miss the superpower, the feeling that it comes with of like working on your stuff. But yes, it has been fantastic to just be able to get up from my office here in my living room and walk and see my kids and give them a hug and like cuddle for a half hour and catch up on their feelings and their thoughts. And that's something that, as working moms, we don't really get to do throughout our day.
Totally.
So that's been pretty fantastic. So you alluded to, Fallon, who you're quarantining with. So one of your sisters and one of your best friends.
One of our mutual best friends.
Tell us more about that and like all the parties you've been like cheese boarding it up in your house. And then Alex, I want to hear about who else besides Henry is quarantining with you.
Yeah, I mean, for starters, like I'm still single, still thrive with my girlfriend group. So I ended up counting like in January, I was on 6 trips, like 2 different countries, 5 different cities, like just insane and travel that I was totally taking for granted. And like I sat through my camera roll, I'm counting it. I'm like, you are so lucky. And like, you think of it as a task, or it's like a drag to have to like travel and schlep around from city to city. So I will say, to Alex's point, it's been actually really nice. And I found the silver lining in like pausing for a minute. The first few weeks were great. I mean, Reset did like oil masks and face masks every day, and was able to actually keep groceries in my fridge for a week, which was like the first time I could remember in forever. But it gets like, it got old pretty fast, because I missed that fast paced routine, and like seeing all my girls and realizing that like hustle and that thrive and that passion was really, I think, what like drives, honestly, like my health, my mental health, my physical health, and just having something to feel so passionately about moving forward. And when you're on pause, like, it's a great reset. And don't take me wrong, I definitely enjoyed it, but starting to get a little stir crazy. So yes, lucky to have Regan and Danielle here. And like, for me, it's like any excuse to throw a party. Danielle's 27th birthday, we turned this place into a nightclub, got the like disco lights and the big balloon garland and all that jazz, put bottle service here, so it's fun. So like, any excuse for me to be extreme as I possibly can in these four walls, I'm gonna take it and just like fake that I am out in the world, you know, kind of thriving. And that's it, just fake it till we make it through. But it's been a blessing and a curse, so it's like totally a balance. But we are finding that silver lining. And like, when else in my life am I going to get a chance to be quarantined with two of like my best friends and most amazing women ever? So, you know, making the best of it.
And Alex?
Well, I am with my partner Jason, that I believe we talked about on the reunion, and then after the reunion, took a pause for about a month, and we went through some things that were pretty personal that brought us back together, and it was just a moment where I needed somebody, and he showed up, physically, emotionally, spiritually, just mentally. And so we've been together since September. So we just took like I think like 2 months off. And so we moved in together right away. Like, it was one of those moments where it's like, you know. And so he's been living, we moved in together I lived in a 4-bedroom house with Henry before. It's a long story, but there was plenty of room for someone to come and join us. So he moved in September or October. So we've been living together for about 6 months longer. And
I was so happy to see that when I saw
Yeah,
that on social media, because you know, when we filmed, you could just see it coming out of you, like how happy and in love and like just on cloud nine you were. And then when I heard you guys were pausing, I was like, oh, but I didn't want to like dig, be like, why, what's going on, you know, all of that. So when I saw you guys coming back together, and it wasn't like this big announcement, it was just like, oh,
yeah,
all
it
of
was
a
nice and
sudden,
subtle.
yeah, he's like
But we
back
were all on
in
the other
your
side of
life.
the phone smiling.
Yeah, we're all like, ooh, yes.
I
Yeah.
had so many friends that were like, I just talked to you 2 weeks ago. There was none of this in sight. I was done. I was totally done. Because, you know, we were growing. We were growing as humans, and we were breaking out of our shells, and we were like seeing new versions of each other. And you know, we just came to a point where we were in a park, and we had, you know, had a little disagreement. We aren't big fighters. We had a disagreement. I had gone to Chicago for a week. I didn't hear from him the whole week. And I said, hey, I'm coming back. Do you want to talk? And so we got together, and he said the most kind things. And at the end, he said, I just don't know if I'm your guy. And I looked at him and I said, okay, I believe you, because as Maya Angelou says, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And I literally believe you. So that's that. Love you. This was great. Thank you for this time. And we walked away, and we did a little back and forth, and it's a long story, but we went on a date one night, and I just was like overcome with my queenness. I'd never felt it before the way that I did, because I knew that I had a man in front of me that could take what I was about to say and either walk away or like step the fuck up. And he chose to step the fuck up. And it took him a few days. And I think for so many women, like, it's, you know, one, worth the wait, as I'm sure everybody can say once they find the right person. But also it's worth like laying down what and who you are so that they can either step up to that or walk the fuck away, because, you know. So anyways, I ended up getting a man that stepped up in ways that I never imagined, and our relationship is like stronger and healthier than anything I've ever been in. And, you know, he's just my family, he's my home, and he's a great support system.
That's awesome. I
That's
hope we're
amazing.
lucky enough to get to show our audience that one day. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
So how's business, Alex? Like, how is the agency? How are the clients? What kind of stuff have you been putting in front of them to help solve their problems during this time?
I haven't. I let go of most of my team in November. Yeah, so I got to a point where I knew for sure that I was not put on this earth to manage people, that I loved my work, but managing my Chicago team from San Diego, uh, even though I tried 3 different people to manage the office, it did not work at all. It was bad. It wasn't bad. It was just, it was not working. It was very clear that the universe was like, hey, girlfriend, this isn't what you should be doing, you know? So I gave the girls like 6 weeks notice, as much notice as I could, kind of gave them, you know, a month to find out what they wanted to do, plus 2 extra weeks of pay, like wrapped it up as beautifully as I could. And sent them on their way. And January 1st, 2020, I had no staff to call me, bitch to me. I just like slimmed it down. I had 3 clients and it was wonderful. It was like the best next step for me. And then when all this hit the fan, it kind of flatlined. And I just took a little bit of time back. One of my clients is a restaurant. There's really not much you can do if they're not going to do to-go orders and all that, you know, stuff. Bless the souls of the restaurants that are trying to stay alive. It's so crazy out there. And I see publicists that represent restaurants who are throwing their whole lives into helping people save their lives. But as my boyfriend says so beautifully, I'm not Captain Save a Ho anymore. I cannot save people, and it's just not in me. So I can't. It's too much. So I commend the women in PR that are like revitalizing businesses and like keeping people sane. But like, I cannot do that anymore. So
Yeah.
the restaurant we just paused. And the womanish exhibit that we had been working on is just paused because it's has to do with lots of people and coming together. There's not much you can really do, you know, except they on their own have created incredible digital and virtual programming that I have nothing to do with, but I think they've done a beautiful job. And then of course the blank table dinner series squashed. Hustlecraft squash. We just started to pick up today on, or this week on talking to people to do some virtual stuff, but it's been total flatline. And
Wow. I had no idea. But what I will say, it's a total brave, I mean, even, you know, the fact that you made the decision back in November, that was a totally brave decision to make because it's hard. Like, you know, I let someone go during quarantine time, and not because like, you know, the business was failing or anything. It was just her time to leave. And it just happened to coincide with what's going on now. And it hurts. Like I don't, you know, I don't know how people will take this, but for people who have to let someone go or fire someone, it hurts your own soul to have to tell someone that you are letting them go or that you're fired. And you don't really know that feeling until you've had to do that to somebody. So to have to do that to your entire team, I can only imagine. And then, you know, you hope the best for people, but like, I love what your boyfriend says, like, you're not Captain Save-A-Ho. Like, you can't you can't put yourself in like everyone else's, like, I need to save you, I need to help you pay your rent, I need to do this. It's just like, you have to take care of yourself and your family and your own sanity.
You have
So
to realize how much and where in your life that shit manifests, because for me in my 20s, it started with saving men. Then it started with trying to save family. And that was just, I mean, it's still sort of a disaster in that area. And then it comes to like, you know, manifesting your work, and like, it's just like, fuck the noise. I think this break has been a beautiful excuse to edit the shit out of every part of your life, because you can. You're not obligated to go to like dinners with people you don't like. Not that anybody does, but sometimes you do. You know, you don't have to take on clients.
I'm guilty of that.
Broke right now, like, it's a weird empowerment to be like, I'm actually not going to take your account because you have really bad energy, and I'm good. I'll just eat groceries and not go out, you know?
yeah, well, it'll be fun to see what you pivot into when we all kind of reemerge out of all of this. Fallon, I want to give you a chance to let us all know, like, how's business? Because when we last saw you, you had just started your own, you know, PR firm, and you had some clients coming in, and it was like a new energy, new excitement. So I want to know, and I'm sure everyone else wants to know, like, how have you managed this time? How are things going? What's new in Fallon world?
Yeah, I'll probably like echo a statement that I said on the reunion, but like originally when I ventured off into this like independent new venture, I never really anticipated it becoming like a firm or a big agency. I mean, Alex touched on this, and I think encompassing this idea of like, you just have to follow like what's bringing you joy internally. And I've learned a lot of lessons in the past year, such as Alex, I totally was one of those people who's like, oh my God, well, this person wants my business. I'll take any client I can get right now. I should be saying yes to everyone. If someone wants my services, like I need to figure out a way to make it work. I was operating off like this fear of, I'm going to lose this if I don't say yes to every door that's opening for me. I think for a long time, like I was in, you know, my career at Lana Joy for 8 years, and I was in such a routine there that taking that first big risk was so scary. And when I took that risk, I was rewarded. So I figured, okay, well, every risk after this, I should take, and I will be rewarded in return. And God forbid I say no to something, or I say no to change again, and I get stuck in a routine. That's not going to be healthy for me. So I think I had 12 clients at one point last year, and I was actually operating on my own because I didn't know how to, didn't know if I wanted to hire people, because I don't want this firm, I don't want this agency. And I sort of felt like there was this huge like wave of momentum that was coming at me, and I was like doing everything I could to keep it from coming. So I was like, all right, let me ride this wave for a second. We'll keep taking on the clients. I'm going to take on a few junior coordinator roles. Luckily, I didn't put anyone on like full-time payroll, so I had just some girls working on more of like a freelance basis for me, but like who I really loved and honestly could not have finished the year without. And then like and Alex, it's crazy because I'm mirroring these same feelings, but it hit me and I was like, I'm spending so much more time managing these girls on client calls. I'm actually like hate the business side of this. I hate it. Like I hate running the business of PR. Like I just want to be doing the work. Okay. So then I realized, and it was like a year of trial to say, you know, I don't want to grow this thing right now, or that's not what's bringing me joy. So like really boiling down what is, and it's a few of my client, you know, relationships, because there's some you're just fulfilling the work and it's like, I've never done this for the money. I actually don't like, never really knew how much I was making. I just always made it work, to the point where thank God for my accounting team who now keeps me in check. But my point is, it was always about passion. That's what drove me. And like my success was always derived from what I was passionate about. So I just like had a conversation with myself, like literally write down what is bringing you joy. That was clients, that was workload, traveling, and like I truly like had to believe in the fact that like joy brings you freedom. And with that said, I ended up ridding like some of the worker clients that they were amazing people, amazing brands. It just didn't feel like the right fit. I wasn't passionate enough to treat them like my own, and focus in on opportunities with a few clients that I really felt like we had a really synergistic mindset, values, and we're going to grow together because growing is like so important to me right now. So that leaves me with Vital Proteins is someone who I'm working really closely with. So the America's leading collagen company, wellness startup. They have like a beauty division, a performance division. So I'm really leaning into like experiential for them, which it's an interesting time right now without events. So actually thinking through like a lot of charitable efforts and what we can be doing digitally. And then I still have my bridal brand Amsala, and they've just been incredibly pioneering as a legacy brand in this new like digital and virtual space. It's helping tell that story. And then my accessories line, Deseda scarves, and I also still have a jewelry brand, which I'm helping like build out affiliate programs and just newness. So for me, I just am trying to be a magnet to whatever's bringing me joy and excitement. The whole like business side of it and like hustling 12 clients, it's just not for me. Like maybe it looks good on Instagram. It's for some people for sure. But I think where my focus is going to be on like, this is the brand, this is the value. So how do I keep like myself healthy? Because let me tell you, and I'm ranting right now, but like another huge lesson I learned, sleep is so important. I used to like brag about the fact that I only got 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. I'm getting like 8 to 9 right now. I've never felt better. Like I need to show up for me every day. And when I show up for myself, like that's going to shine through the work that I'm doing. So 2020 is like packaging this situation and trying to get as little amount of work for the largest outcome and the most amount of joy. That's my rant. But yeah, it's more internal, I think, than it is external right now.
Yeah. No, that's not a rant. That's awesome. I think that's a formula that if a lot of people could follow, more people would be happy. So that's good. That's fantastic.
That I think, sorry, I just want to say that my girlfriend, I was talking to her, and this, when it first happened, I was like, I just want to be an administrative assistant. I'm so over the pressure of managing. I literally want to be someone's like, I'll go get your like, you know, your laundry and I will go pick up your mail. Like I just wanted the most basic job because of the years and years of mounting pressure over and over. And she said, Alex, I just want to tell you something. You've proven yourself. And I think that Fallon can relate, and I'm sure Farissa can as well. It's like sometimes we put ourselves in these situations where we're proving something to actually nobody except ourselves. Or as I say sometimes, like this higher paternal power where I'm like trying to show my dad, who's never put any pressure on me, you know, that I can do it and I can do all things. And, you know, we're of such a new generation of feminism and opportunity that we want to seize every moment and every opportunity and be the shining star and do it all. And there is something really beautiful about the simplicity of this time where you didn't have to be all of that. And to just tell yourself that like you did it, like Fallon, like you did it. You did something incredible with Lana that most girls dream of. Then you went on your own. You did the whole big thing, realized you didn't want to. And now you have this nice little healthy formula for yourself. And that's all that matters. Because
right. It's like it's part of your story. Like your life is this book, and I have my chapters, and I want to experience the most amount of things possible. And you're so right. And thank you for saying that. It means the world to me. But just to remind yourself, like you have achieved that. You have, you know, that gold medal here, and trying something new adds like another medal to the collection, which I think is really special.
I have a little bit of like PTSD-ish feelings where like I get a lot of flashbacks of like the heydays of Chrome City and like the parties and like the, you know, the it crowds that we were rolling with. And it's so funny because when I was younger and I'd see like people in their 40s like reminiscing, I was like, all right, like live for the now. And now here I am.
Totally.
Forward. I'm like, I love my life. It's so peaceful and joyful. But I have those moments where I'm like,
I'm with you totally.
Like, what happened? But you know, I think there's a trade-off, and there was, for all the high moments that I had during that time, I had some super dark low moments too. And so, you know, right now I'd say most of life is pretty beautiful and high, and I just am not having the ups and the downs. The highs aren't as high, but the lows aren't as low. But
that's
it's
called balance. Balance, right? Yes, like that's the key. It's like you found a way to balance out your happiness with the struggle of life, because we're all going to go through things, right? Good and bad. But if we can try and control it as much as possible, that's the key to truly being happy and then successful. Because that's where, you know,
Yeah.
success isn't money, it's not fame, it's not all these things. It's like I can sit with myself, close my eyes, be quiet, and still be super content and happy. And I think that's what you both are describing.
Yeah, and also
We're
like
growing up.
people don't feel that way. You know, like we can never take that for granted because I know all three of us are that way. We've spent so much time together. And Nolita is the same way. I mean, she knows herself. And that's, you forget how rare that is. I mean, even some of my closest friends are just truly tortured, you know? I mean, I will say.
Yeah.
So lucky.
And that segues really well to my next question I have for you guys, because although getting to know yourself, if you're lucky, comes with age, right? Like the older you get, the better you are at these things that we're describing. But for some people, it never happens, or when you're young and you're still trying to figure it out, you're just lost. And I can't imagine being at the beginning of my career right now and having all of this go down in the world. So I would want you guys to take a second, put on like, you know, your mom hats or your mentor hats, and like, what would you tell all the girls who, you know, are watching this now, who are at that phase in life, right? Like they might have just graduated a year or so ago and they're getting started. Maybe we're even looking for a job.
Right.
What advice do you have for them?
I graduated college during the last economy crash. So I have some experience with it. Obviously, I think this is going to be much worse. But my advice is, and this is to anyone graduating or not, because I think we're all a little bit like, what the hell do we do no matter what, is to make a list of people that you know that have multiple things happening, high income, access to lots of things, whether it's your parents' friends, your uncle, you know, your old professor in college, any connections that you can think of that have opportunity that is vast. Phone call, email, contact. It's the first thing I did. I called my wealthiest friend who I knew when he had no money. So we are homies. And he gave me just an hourly easy gig that really got me to actually be able to pay rent in May, which truly was like not a viable option in April. You know, it's been tough. I mean, it was flatlined. So I think just truly like being open, again, this is for all people, like I think for younger people, building anything that you want, you can build something from scratch online right now. If you're just staying at your parents' house because you can't leave, build your dream shit right now. But I think for older people, that's not really like necessarily what we want to do. I think for people that are in their like 30s or 40s, it's like dig back deep into old shit that you were good at maybe 15, 20 years ago, and I don't know, I think be open to doing anything to make money. That's like a true goal.
What about you, Fallon?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic advice in terms of making money right now. Everyone is going to have to be really, really flexible, and also put in the work to tap those streams where they're accessible to you. To retweet what Alex said in terms of using your network. I think just to expand on like kind of building your dream right now, or my advice, money aside, and tapping into this time that we now have, which is sometimes just as valuable, if not maybe more. So now I'm 28 years old. I graduated college when I was 18. To this day, I still don't have a website that I am proud of. I still don't have like a brand mission that I am proud of, a portfolio. If I could go back in time to when I was starting my career, I would spend some time on that website and log every placement, every celebrity, every article, every brand, and create a portfolio of myself. Because right now, when I'm, seeking new clients or seeking new business, and I have to like now go back and scrapbook this whole thing together, when I'm busy thinking about a billion other things, like I probably could have prepared a little bit better and laid some groundwork for my own personal brand. So right now, the one thing that you do have is yourself. and your passion. I talk about this word all the time in the series, and I still talk about this word because I truly, truly believe, do not take on a client unless you're passionate about them. Do not take on that first job. Just wait until there's a little bit of passion, because in PR, if you don't have that, you are not going to succeed for your client. If you're not passionate about what you're talking about, people are going to see right through that. You need to go to bat for them. So right now, figure out what it is. Sorry, that's my dryer because my sister decided to do laundry while we're recording this. Figure out what it is that you are passionate about, maybe 3 things, and start building those brand pillars for yourself. Start like practicing creating content, doing your research, create your website, your portfolio, your Instagram, and treat yourself like a client if that's all you have right now. And give yourself the practice in doing that. And just start laying your groundwork so that when we do come out of this and there's all of these applicants, you're standing out because you have something to speak to and you have a result and a deliverable that you worked on. And meanwhile, you also help package yourself. I promise you, 8, 9, 10 years from now, you will look back and be grateful that you have all of that information. So I think it's an absolutely amazing time for publicists to take what they learned in school, apply it and really dive into it, and have something coming out of this to be able to present to a future employer.
Absolutely.
That's great advice, Fallon. That makes me think about this thing that I tell people pre-corona who were just looking for work in general, and not really putting all of their energy into it. And I would tell them, hey, to get a job, you have to treat finding a job like a job. Like that is your job when you're looking. And to your point, building your brand, figuring out a way to stand out from the masses once all the dust settles from us being quarantined is going to be the most valuable thing for people. It's almost like coming out of college where now you're competing with everyone else who went to school. But if you had an internship, if you have a little small portfolio online, you have some writing samples, just something, it shows them, hey, this is a person that's been doing something more productive with their time than the person next to them. So when this is done, literally everyone's going to have the same story. What have you been doing for the past 3 months? I've been at home minding my business, trying to stay safe and healthy. But
applying to jobs, writing my cover letter, right?
Exactly. So it's like now, but here's what else I was working on. And then you have things to show for it. So that's
find a passion project. Like if it's cooking breakfast and making videos of that every morning, or it's creating art or something to speak to. I think that's like really valuable advice, Farissa.
Yeah, no, it was your advice. No, that's it's good. I like the idea of a passion project. So have you guys created, like, do you have a passion project that you're working on right now that is just something to keep you sane and have fun, like during your days? Either one of you?
I have like 1 or 2, but do you have anything else? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
No, I feel like I have. I have been cooking a lot. So my best friend's dad owns specialty produce here, and they've been hit really hard because of how much they've been serving restaurants. So we've been getting like amazing produce there, like vegetables I've never even tried before, and cooking a lot. But then it was raining, by the way, for a very long time, like more than normal for California. So the first 2 weeks, I think everyone in California was like, sure, no problem, I'll stay in, like, because it was pouring rain. So I was cooking every day. I got this amazing recipe from Bon Appetit for this celery soup that is to die for. It tastes like potato soup. We had that with grilled cheese. I've been eating like a motherfucker. Another one is we've been finding free shit on Craigslist, and Jason will go and pick it up, mask, gloves, come back, and we'll like sand it, cut it, paint it. So we've been like making
so fun.
And that's been so awesome. And I finally just started to dive into creating content literally this week, because I think everyone's starting to kind of like rise up again. And I've been working on my website. So when you said that, I was literally laughing inside, because this whole time I've been running this agency, I never created an alexandriaott.com website that showcases everything I'm good at, which is like,
what were we thinking? Recent graduates, like, remember this. If you're going to do one thing, go buy your name as a URL.
A cooking tab, a makeup tab, and a writing tab. I don't care, because as an employer, I want to connect with your passions. I don't need your
Totally.
passions, my passions, or perfectly aligned with what I do. And I think that the freedom of Instagram for the younger generation has given them a platform, and there's just more people that are like more openly queer than they used to, like everything is a little bit more like be yourself, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think that more young people that are applying to jobs don't feel like they need to fit in necessarily to like what Alex Ottercrumb City would want to hire, for example. They're like, I'm rock and roll, I'm punk, I'm a cook, I'm an artist, take it or leave it, and I like that.
Totally.
I will take it. That's my jam. I like
when recent graduates or young publicists are talking about like building their brand, or we get in this conversation, because I offer that advice a lot, that's like one of my starting points is you're all publicists. Everyone who's applying wants to be a future publicist. So you need to figure out, aside from PR, what else sets you apart.
Yeah.
And I always say, think of 3 things that are totally irrelevant. So you gave the 3 perfect examples: cooking, writing, and makeup. None of those things, well, writing, but none of those things are like necessarily requirements are exactly equivalent to PR. Those are things that you get to add on to your PR skill set that now create a sense of individuality and personality about you. They're extra talking points. They're things you can lean into and create content about using your PR skill set. And suddenly you have a brand that breaks through the noise of every other PR person that's applying for this job, because you have these 3 attributes that you can now talk about and represent as if they were your clients.
Well, and if you get a client that's a restaurant or a makeup brand, then that's
Yep.
your girl,
Totally.
So you want to know what people's different things are, because that's like the chance to shine, is if you're vocal. And if you're not vocal, then maybe you're digitally vocal, because that's not everyone's jam. Not everyone is outgoing. Right. I'm not as digitally vocal. I'm like old school, and so I think that that's the leg up that younger people have, is because we're all not, I was always leaning on my personality and my presence. And now I have to like somehow squish that into a cool website. And to your point, Fallon, building a portfolio of everything you've done, I've been doing that, and it's too much. It doesn't look good. It's like overwhelming. It's like, I have like 14 different testimonials, but like, ew, like, how do I,
you got to boil it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's like, I want everyone to see every press that I ever got of a national placement, but like, are people really going to go through 26 placements? Like,
yeah,
ew.
no.
So
I just wish I had a freaking bank of it to choose from. Like, I want it in the Dropbox. That's all I'm talking about. Just save it down somewhere, because I didn't do that.
I will say that that's why having like one assistant part-time is G, if it's just for you, not for the business. So, if you can get to a point where you bring on like one more client just to like part-time pay someone to do that, that's really great. And you can take on a non-passion client knowing that you're taking them on to pay that person to build your brand, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah. As long as it's easy for you to fulfill that work. Like, don't take on a whole new learning curve, but if it's something that can be kind of plug and play, and you guys can have a very mutually beneficial relationship with knowing that, totally. I agree with you.
That, so I feel really
I have that too, and oh my god, I like love my right hand girl. Like, Anne, shout out. I don't know what I would do without you. I always say she manages me because.
What's her name?
Anne.
Cool. Shout out to Anne. Like my Chloe, my little baby would do.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I don't know why. No, this is fantastic. So I just want, not that you guys asked me, but I do want to throw out like one of the things that I've been doing to like hold what I realized in this quarantine is that my creativity is a part of my sanity. And like when I don't have the space mentally or sound wise, or just, we live in a condo on Lakeshore Drive. I don't have outdoor space. I can't get away from people. There's only illusion of privacy in my house. So I started to feel super anxious and like uptight. And I was like, what is wrong with me? I'm just with my husband and my kids. Like, what is going on? And I realized I didn't have that space anymore to be in my office and close the door, or go to Soho House and like put headphones on, or the things that I was doing in my day-to-day life to give myself that creative space. So I found audiobooks. Like, audiobooks has been the best thing in my brain. Like, just listening to an author read their book about their life and about like the lessons they've learned and all of that. It's just the most soothing thing to me these days. Like, I can't even tell you guys. And it actually inspired me to create little episodes of my book on Instagram. So I've been reading like little snippets of like the beginning of each chapter and calling them Love, Sex, and Friendship, the shorts on Instagram. And just like 8 minutes worth of like the beginning of the chapter, because it did such a good thing for me. I was like, oh my God, I need to figure out how to just give this to some other people.
Congratulations on all of the success of the book. It's been so awesome to watch and
Thank
see.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's one of the things that was so weird. It's like I put it out and we had this whole marketing plan. Shouts out to my publicist, Takia, who's on mute on this call. But we had a whole thing, and then it was like, oh, now everyone's got to get locked in their house. So it was just like, you know, use your creativity, pivot, and like, you know, be ready for when the doors open up again. And actually, so that segues well, like, what are we looking forward to the most? Like, when you can just go and be and do, like, what are you guys looking forward to doing?
You go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Honestly, I want to go on a trip with my husband. Like, I want to get on an airplane. I want to put my feet in the sand. You know, like, that's something that I know you don't take for granted, Alex. Like, but living here in Chicago, freezing all the goddamn time, it's like, I just want to go somewhere hot, put my feet in the sand, relax, and just like let go of all like the past few months. We're still working just as hard, right? So it's not like this is a vacation at home. We're just running our businesses from our house now with our kids and homeschooling and blah, blah, blah. So I just want to get away. I celebrated my 39th birthday here in quarantine. So it's like, I'm due for like a party in a warm location in a swimsuit. That's what I want to do.
Fallon?
I'm hijacking your trip and like bringing all of my best friends, because that's the first thing I want to do too. Need to get some warm weather, some vitamin D, hop on a plane, a road trip. I'll walk, I'll swim. I don't care. I just need the ocean.
Yeah.
Miami?
Alex? Yeah, for sure. Miami is like too easy. Maybe even like a little farther south. Do a little Caribbean, who knows? But yeah, that's the first place I'm going. That's all. A pedicure first, and then.
Oh my God, tell me about it. Hold on, before you answer, Alex, I want to literally tell you guys, do not buy the foot mask on Amazon.
I did. It's coming in the mail.
Oh my! So
what happened? I think like we bought 3 of them.
This is what's happening to my feet right now.
Oh no!
My feet are shedding like snake skin because it's like a peel. It's like a chemical peel.
But like, where else better? Yeah, where else better to have this happen?
I painted my own nails for the first time in 12 years.
It looks.
But if anyone was gonna like succeed at doing an at-home manicure, it would have been you.
Yeah, and it matches your hair. It's like perfect. But
that's a brag, not a venture.
It's like all the dead skin is gone when you leave the salon. With this foot mask, it's like it's been 2 days, and it's still like every time I take a shower, it's like I'm a snake. Yeah. So beware.
Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, shit.
Yeah. So it's happening. There's smooth heels coming, but
yeah, anyway. I know. I mean, TMI, but like when we're, getting down, I used to always like put my foot against his body, and now I'm just like making sure.
Please don't look.
The calloused foot stays.
Now your foot is up here. You're like this instead of like this.
I used to wrap my legs around him, and now I'm like, let's keep these fuckers away until they get pedicured.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I literally want someone to make me a cocktail, and I want to listen to live jazz, and I don't even need to leave my city. I just want I love jazz like so much. I just want to sit and listen to jazz and get buzzed and have somebody else make me a drink.
Yeah, that makes me miss
That's a good one.
In general. Like, I want to be front row center for the next Beyonce concert post-COVID. Like, can you imagine?
I mean,
I don't know.
I kind of feel like, the rich are getting richer, and I just kind of feel like artists are just going to do these little intimate shows that are like $1,200 a seat, and we'll never be able to afford it again. But yeah, I think a little tear for like, the summer movie series and like all these things, especially in Chicago. My God, all the street festivals, like everything that makes summer is not going to be the same. And maybe a good time to consider a fresh city, honey.
Yeah, that's on my to-do list for sure. I'm not kidding about this. I feel like my family's gonna kill me, but it's what we do. And I travel so much anyway.
I think you should. And I think I want to talk to you about it like offline too, because I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, the producer and me, hopefully we can show everybody. Okay, last question. Anything else you guys want to tell like the followers of our series, the fans, like anything, advice, secrets, whatever, like just an opportunity to be like,
Candid.
last words.
Yeah. I think from when I started my career to now, like time was a flash. Like the last 8 years went by. Now I'm stuck in quarantine thinking about like all the things I could have done or all the things I spent too much time doing. Always be really respectful to who you're working with, who you're working for. But put yourself first and invest in yourself and make choices that make you happy. Stay healthy. Hustle is a word that I've learned to dislike more than I like. I used to pride myself on that word. Like work as hard as you can, be the hardest working person in the room. I still believe in that, but you have to do it within reason and make sure you're staying mentally and physically healthy throughout all of that. Because hustle isn't always the healthiest way to progress. So I think like my advice is just to continue, looking inward and doing things with the purpose to succeed, personally as well as like externally in your career.
Alex?
Well, I think of the word hustle as doing things that get you what you want, that don't take from you. Obviously, everybody has a different definition, but I think my closing remarks are that you can, as a millennial young woman, or just a woman, you can become, change anytime you want to. And I want to give anybody who's watching the freedom to change at a moment's notice, to not give anybody notice about what's changing up here in your heart, in your mind, in your body. If you want to get fluffier, if you want to fast, if you want to be Buddhist, if you want to start having lots of sex, no sex, lots of drinking, no drinking, I just want to like clear the freedom for women to be whoever the fuck they want to be, and to like I just at 34, I love me, and I've battered me a lot, I partied so fucking hard. I mean, thank God for the baby. He really like slowed my shit down. But I just think that like I was always so hard on myself with my different identities, and like I came out as bisexual and I was a single mom, and I kind of put myself in these boxes because as you become these new identities, you feel like you need to really like live in them and feel them and be them and embody them. At least I do, because I'm a Pisces and I need to like swim in it all and be all of it. But I just feel like I wish myself would have told my younger self to like it's okay to change day to day. It's okay to not have to be like stuck in one place. And especially as publicists, I think there's this like really sexy identity with it, and you never want to let it go. Once you kind of break into the crowd, or you break into the club or the cult, whatever it is, you never want to get out, because there's so many sexy parts of it. But it's okay if it's not for you, or there's certain parts of it like writing that you love but you hate all the rest of the shit, or you just love to go out and network but you hate all the other stuff. So I guess my advice, or my kind of closing thing, would be kind of in the same line of what Fallon said, is just honing in on what it is that you love to do, and kind of like saying no and trusting in yourself to be able to say no to things that don't serve you, and see what happens, you know? And if it doesn't work out, then start saying yes to things that don't serve you and go back to your old life. It doesn't matter, but you can always change, you know? So I think taking the risk to saying no to like friends, family, clients, people that don't serve you. And it's very hard. I mean, I'm having a thing right now with family, and it's killing me because it's almost Mother's Day. But it's boundaries and toxicity that just are best for me to, you know, take a step back and to have self-preservation. So always be willing to change. Don't feel like you have to prove anything to anyone. Accept yourself, and, you know, follow things that lead to joy as much as you can.
Ladies,
that's my
this
buzzword.
conversation has made me miss you guys even more. I can't wait till this is over and we can get together and like touch each other and like hug and kiss and all those things. Like couples. Yes.
Touch.
I just want to touch people. No, this is
okay. You guys are living with your significant others. Like, I get to touch somebody first, then we get.
Fallon, you get to
Single
touch
girl
whoever
problem.
you want as much as you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next live, we'll talk about online dating during quarantine and how that's been really fun.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
just
Okay.
teasing.
So we're definitely having a part 2.
Yeah, we need chapter 2. We miss Nolita.
Yeah, we miss her too. So shouts out to Nolita. Miss you, girl. We'll get her on next time. We'll have a part 2. We'll catch up with her. We will see what an online date looks like in Fallon's life. We will hopefully see Alex's website, right? Maybe a sneak peek of that.
Yeah, and I'll bring Jason in too. You guys can meet him.
Yes, we'll bring Jason in. That would be fantastic.
I love that.
Yes. You guys make a really cute couple. Like, you need to be on a magazine cover. Like, his gray and the whole thing is just too much to take. It's really cute.
His white hair, can you even? Do you know that I manifested him? Did I say
Yes,
you told us that.
at the reunion. It was so good. It was like
the tattoo.
Oh, with his little like white hair, and I like touch it, and I'm like, I literally, yes.
Dreamt you into existence. Yes. Well, as we close, I just want to say thank you to all of the people who are supporting PRGirl on Amazon. It means the world to me. I know it means the world to Fallon and Alex and Nolita. We are newer in the UK, so we're starting to see the numbers go up there. And so I'm super excited about that. So shouts out to all the UK PR girls. And just keep talking to us on Instagram. Let us know what you want to see. We'll be here. We ain't doing anything else. So let us know. But anyway, it was a blast, guys. Thank you for doing this.
Love you guys.
We'll talk again soon, okay?
Okay, sounds good.